Hey everyone, it's Ben. Hope everyone's doing well today. Wanted to just point out that if you guys haven't figured it out, this is not my follow-up to my favorite horror film remakes, reboots, whatever. That video featuring the ones I'm not a fan of will be coming shortly, either tonight or tomorrow. What I wanted to talk about today was an actor that I've mentioned in a couple other videos that I'm a huge fan of. The actor's name is Stephen Geoffreys. In the 80s, he was in films like Heaven Help Us, Fraternity Vacation. They were like on HBO all the time. So before he played Evil Ed in Fright Night, I had known who he was. And then I saw Fright Night and I became an even bigger fan of him. Love Evil Ed. The two books right there are the comics. When Evil Ed came back to the comic book series, Fright Night comic book series in the late 80s. That's issues 8 and 9. Those show pictures of what Stephen Geoffreys looks like before and after he turns into a vampire. So obviously he did Fright Night as well, which was a huge film for me growing up. And then he did 976 Evil as well, where he played Hoax. And this is a great film. Love this film. It was directed by Robert Englund, Freddy himself. So if you haven't checked this one out, go and check it out. I really recommend it. But for this review, for this video, I want to talk about this film, which is a new film that Stephen Geoffreys has done. Now, he's been kind of out of the spotlight for a while. He did films up until like the early 90s, and then he kind of disappeared for a while. And this is before Wikipedia and IMDb and the internet. And I never knew what happened to him. And then come to find out, like maybe 6-7 years later, that he had gotten into the adult film industry, that he had come out as a gay man and gotten into gay porn. And it doesn't bother me that he did that. It's no big deal if he's gay. It doesn't bother me. He does porn. Who cares? The problem for me is that he was so talented. I thought, he had been picked in the 80s as one of the most talented young actors of his generation. He had done films, like I said, like Fraternity Vacation, Heaven Help Us, Fright Night, and then he had done At Close Range with Christopher Walken and Sean Penn. Did 976 Evil. So I was like, what made him do that? What was it that made him turn to that type of film instead of going on doing, mainstream films or even independent films like New Terminal Hotel? So I was very happy that he's come back to, the main movies, to regular movies, to, independents. The first one he did, he had a cameo in a movie called Sick Girl, which I still haven't seen. And then he's also done a couple of other ones. We got the names of them right here. Let's see what so he's got Mr. Hush. He's done another one called Bite Marks. He's got one called Diary of Randy Rose. Some of these other ones and The Emerging Past. So these are new ones that he's doing. And they are, New Terminal Hotel is very independent. I think the movie cost like $100,000 to shoot, so there's nothing wrong with that. It's actually a really good movie. I was surprised how well it was done, and that he is still a really good actor. In the film, he plays Don Malik. What he is he's a Hollywood screenwriter. He's living in kind of a slum hotel. He's grief-stricken since the murder of his fiancée. He's got his literary agent, who's played by Tiffany Shepis, and she wants a manuscript from him, and he's just so grief-stricken over his fiance's death that he ends up going after the head of the studio, who was actually cleared in the murder charges, and he becomes kind of like a vigilante. So it's sort of like got a Dexter vibe to it, but I thought it was really well done. Corey Haim actually also has a small cameo in the film. So with Corey Haim and Stephen Geoffreys, they're like the biggest names in the movie, but he does a great job acting in the film, and I'm just glad to see him back in mainstream films. It's like I'm just hoping that he starts doing a few more, and that movies like this will help him get a little bit more recognition for how talented he is. But yeah, if you guys get a chance, check it out. It's not really available in many places. I had to get it off Amazon. It cost me about $12, but you can watch it on Amazon streaming video. So that's a place to check it out. But if you're a fan of Stephen Geoffreys, I definitely recommend it. It's not a lot of action. It's not 100% gory, but it's a very talky film. It's a lot of dialogue, but he does a great job in it. And if you're a fan of him, if you're a fan of Fright Night and fan of 976 Evil, I definitely recommend checking it out. So that's about it. Feel free to leave me your feedback or whatever on this. Let me know how you feel about the actor and his career choice. Always willing to talk about stuff. You know, this is my opinion on the subject, but just glad to see him back. Big fan, and hopefully he does more movies. So look forward to my video regarding the worst, or my opinion on the worst remakes out there. Should be coming up shortly. Take care, guys. Thanks.